Yo, what's up, everyone? I'm Grant Cohn. That's Rob Schuh. We're world famous. You guys may not have heard, but last week our show was being watched by an Uber driver in Arizona. Niner Nick's brother, some of his family members were in the car watching. The guy was trying to like sneak watch a little YouTube while driving. He had it like, I guess in Samsungs you can have like a little YouTube corner in the top with like you can't do that on an iPhone, but this guy,
No.
he was watching us, man, me and you.
So, I'm impressed, man. He's got good taste.
Fantastic taste. You know what it was? Princess Bride.
Greatest movie of all time.
That's probably what hooked him. Anyway, we have high expectations today. We're being watched worldwide by millions of people right now. So we need to talk about Trey Lance because I've been, I think, freaking people out on my YouTube channel. I've been coming here and giving my just analysis, my description of what I saw, and Niner fans are like, "Oh, so you're writing them off."
Yeah, it's being interpreted as a pessimistic view there, Grant.
Okay. So I just want to put it this way. I mean, yeah, I've only seen 2 practices, but I've seen enough. Trey Lance is not ready. He's a year away, and Jimmy Garoppolo is the best thing that's happened to him in the NFL. He needs Jimmy because he's not ready to be the quarterback of this team yet. Now, maybe he could start for another team, the way Josh Allen started for a team that was rebuilding with the first-year head coach. But this team, I mean, how many times do fans come on my show, our show, and tell us it's a Super Bowl roster? It's a great team. This team is there. Okay, well, can you give a team like that to a quarterback who's 21, coming from 1AA football, didn't play last year, and is a work in progress mechanically? He's a year away.
This team is built to compete. You can't do it.
He could play for someone else, but on this team, he's a year away.
Yeah, he could have played for us in 2018. He could have started 2018.
Absolutely.
That would have been fine.
Could have played for him last year after Jimmy went down. But this team, right. The expectation, all the 30-year-olds.
To me, it's the idea of remain calm. Yeah. 49ers fans, remain
This
calm.
Is the plan. That's why they kept Jimmy.
Exactly. This going into it, I know that there are a lot of unreasonable fans out there. Sometimes I'm one of them. I mean, I am completely unreasonable on some of my takes. But going into this, it's for sure what the front office and the coaching staff envisioned would happen. Yeah. It's why you take a raw talent like Trey Lance, because you know that you have a guy like Jimmy who can start.
Absolutely. And like, I'm not a fan, but I got wrapped up in the hype. And before seeing him in one practice in person, I bet my dad a $50 bottle of wine, a nice one, that he's going to start week 1. And I'm standing there both practices thinking, no, I'm going to lose that bet. But that's okay. I don't know why I put that expectation on Trey Lance. It's not fair. Just, again, it was like, well, Josh Allen played right away. Yeah,
he did.
Bills. Yeah.
He did and looked good doing it, right? Mm-hmm. And I think that there still can remain some misplaced optimism that he will pick up this playbook like gangbusters and just each and every practice begin to look better and better and better. I think that you can still hope that, but if you're expecting that to be the reality, I think it's time for 49ers fans to readjust that dial.
Right. There's a couple of things here. Like, everyone says he's a genius in terms of retention and football IQ and picking up. Great. Everyone also says it takes 2 years to learn Kyle Shanahan's offense. I mean, it took Matt Ryan 2 years in his 30s. He's not exactly a dummy. So even if this kid is freaking Albert Einstein, that's terrible, whatever, it's the first smart person that came to my mind, it could still take him 2 years to learn this encyclopedia of a playbook. So let's give him some time there. And then everyone also acknowledges that he's working through mechanics. I mean, that takes time as well.
Takes a lot of time. And in fairness to your earlier statement, I heard Einstein could ball. So,
absolutely.
There's that.
But he was definitely ahead of the game in terms of offensive theory and scheme.
Yeah. I mean, the physics of the game. He just got it.
He liked the spread attack. I'm sorry. Keep going.
Yeah. Well, we could go down that rabbit hole for a long time on Einstein.
Oh, absolutely. Really
Don't get me started. Professionals like us, you can't stop us. But Mahomes didn't even look like Mahomes in the first year. People like to think that he did, but you're telling me Andy Reid wouldn't have started Mahomes over Alex Smith if he looked like he did in year 2 the start of year one, I don't buy that. I think that Mahomes needed that time to season as well. And you saw how great he was in year two. So I just don't think that it's a poor reflection on Trey in any way. It's a reality check for us 49er fans who got excited. Rightfully so. We spent a bunch of first round picks.
And here's the thing. If it were anyone other than Jimmy Garoppolo, I don't think Trey Lance would get the opportunity, the luxury to develop on the bench. I mean, if they had gotten rid of Jimmy Garoppolo and brought in Sam Darnold or Andy Dalton, I mean, you'd say, like, what are you wasting your time with those guys? Those guys are losers who also are learning the system. They don't know it any better than Trey Lance. Don't waste your time. But with Jimmy, he knows the system. He's been here for half a decade. He knows the players. They like him. He's shown that he can win. I mean, he gives you a baseline that is definitely good enough. I mean, he's taken this team to the Super Bowl. This team, he's taken it to the Super Bowl. So I think he's terrific for he allows Trey Lance to develop the right way. I feel like this particular kid can only benefit from a little time on the bench. I don't think it would hurt him at all.
I agree wholeheartedly on that. And I think that it's evidenced in their intention by the fact that we didn't give Jimmy away for a 6th round pick. Exactly. I think it'd be foolish to think that there wasn't a team out there that would have offered something in the end rounds of the draft to get Jimmy and take on that salary, or at least a portion of that salary. But we weren't willing to give him away. He certainly was for sale. I think that if we got the right offer, he would have been shipped out, and we would have lowered our expectations to, the Bills with Josh Allen starting in the first year. But I think the plan was we need Jimmy to take us through this bridge year. And I'm really excited to see what Jimmy can do. I've been on this bandwagon the entire time of Jimmy's going to be the one that starts, barring a season-ending injury. I think he starts the vast majority of the games this year. And I'm excited to see what he can do with that new enthusiasm he's brought to training camp.
All right. Okay, so Trey Lance, not ready. Year one. I've made this determination. I've seen him for 2 days. I'm great at my job. He's not ready, guys. He can play on another team, but on this team right here, this team right here, he ain't playing right away. Not ready. Not with Jimmy here. So good for Trey and good for the Niners for keeping Jimmy Garoppolo. Niner fans might have been a little hasty trying to run him out the door, but that doesn't mean that Trey Lance was the wrong pick. I feel like I got Niners fans really wringing their hands. He's not ready. He's got mechanical issues. What's his deal? He was the right pick. Let me be real clear. The 49ers made the right pick at number 3. Now, I wouldn't necessarily have traded up to number 3. That's a different story. But once they got there, they made the right pick. That was the right pick. It wasn't Justin Fields. It wasn't Mac Jones. I think a lot of Niner fans are worried about Mac Jones right now because the reports out of New England are good.
They are. But I think that was to be expected. Again, I think that going into this, 49ers fans should brace themselves for the idea that, yes, most likely Mac Jones will look better at the start of his career than Trey Lance. And I think that you truly can't judge Trey Lance until you see him in game action. That raw talent, what he brings to the table, you've said this before on the show, truly doesn't jump off the page until you get him in live game action. Right. You have to see him with 260-pound dudes chasing after him, roll out, throw a dime down the field. That's where you're really the jaw's just gonna drop. And exactly. That's what happened for me when I saw his highlights. I mean, when I was looking through the 3 quarterbacks that it looked most likely pre-draft, I settled on Trey Lance as my pick. Thankfully, I was interviewed by the St. Francis News, a small publication in Burlingame run by these young nieces of mine, the young Schuhs. But I'm on record saying Trey Lance was my pick. And it was because of that raw talent that just jumped off the page.
Yes, absolutely. And it's like, the way I look at it is a part of him may want Mac Jones. I don't know what's going on with him. He may have 2 personalities. A part of him may want Mac Jones. And when he's watching Trey Lance struggle with basic stuff, accuracy, whatever, he could say, man, Mac Jones be better at this. Mac Jones be better than 7-on-7. Fine. Oh, well. I think Kyle needs this kind of a quarterback. We've talked about it a lot, but I want to be real specific about it. Yeah. Kyle's had the stationary guy who executes. That's Mac Jones. I mean, Mac Jones, at best, is a super Kirk Cousins. You've had that. I think the way the NFL has evolved, he needs to acknowledge that he needs someone who gives him something off schedule. He needs it every quarter, every team. Unless you have Tom Brady, you need that. Yeah. And a story. And Mac Jones doesn't give you that. Trey Lance will. It's the off-schedule quarterback that he's never really had that he needs.
But he has watched off-schedule quarterbacks. I just was watching highlights of Jerry Rice on Deion Sanders. And so obviously that was Joe Montana and Steve Young throwing the ball. And first of all, oh my God, Jerry Rice. I mean, I just forget sometimes. I watched him my entire time growing up. He was my hero, my favorite 49er. But even I, one of his number one fans, forget how just ridiculous he was, but also how good those quarterbacks were throwing him the ball. They placed some dimes in the end zone over the top of Deion. Deion had blanket coverage and they just laid it in. But what jumped off the page again was the mobility. So I think growing up, Kyle watching, Joe Montana, who was underrated as far as athleticism goes, Steve Young, who obviously we know was athletic as all get out, and then John Elway in Denver. So I think that there's the inspiration of it. And finally, he has his hands on somebody he can mold like that.
Yes. And keep in mind, everyone, when I criticize Trey Lance and say, well, he's not quite as good as Jimmy Garoppolo, it's practice. And practice is basically executing from the pocket. There's no hitting. There's no pass rush. There's no second reaction off schedule plays. How do you do off schedule? You're not supposed to. You're supposed to execute the freaking play in practice. And where Trey Lance is going to show his superiority, what's going to make him special, what's going to allow him to take Kyle Shanahan's offense to the next level is the off schedule stuff. Yep. The playground stuff, the stuff that Russell Wilson does, the stuff that Kyler Murray does, because Kyle Shanahan's offense is great, but it's not perfect. It can't be right every time. And he knows that. I mean, he's lost 2 Super Bowls because he wasn't perfect, even though he was pretty good in them. So now he has a guy who can bail him out. And think about it from Robert Saleh's perspective. He was in that building too. And Robert Saleh has shut down Drew Brees, Aaron Rodgers. He's done it. He did it last year to Drew Brees. He's done it to Rodgers multiple times. If he has that 4-man pass rush, he can just play 7 in a zone behind it, and a quarterback who can't move is screwed right there. I mean, there's so many ways to get creative against a quarterback who's stationary. Once that guy can break the pocket, all hell breaks loose. Robert Saleh a great coordinator like him has been humbled by guys like that. Kyle sees it. This is what every quarterback needs. So the whole Mac Jones thing, good luck, New England. He's going to tear it up in 7-on-7s, man. He's really going to tear it up. He's going to give you nothing when the play call isn't right. So you're going to have to really do some serious spying to make sure you get those signals correct and you know what the coverage is going to be. I'm sorry, don't demonetize me. I wasn't accusing the Patriots. I was just joking. It's for comic relief.
Just joking.
It was comic relief.
Yeah, we have watched what Russell Wilson can do as far as breaking our hearts for years on those off-schedule plays. It changes the game. It forced us to overpay a defender who has length like Eric Armstead because of what he can do within the offense against mobile quarterbacks, enforcing them out of the pocket, containing the center of the line. It has changed what we need to do as a defense, having to play against mobile quarterbacks in 4 games out of the year every single year.
Yeah. So I think not ready right away, no problem. This is the right choice. They could have went with the same kind of quarterback they've had. Mac Jones can execute this offense better than Trey Lance. But I want the guy who can give me execution plus. It's not enough in 2021 to just stand in the pocket. You got to give a little bit more unless you're really the greatest quarterback of all time. Unless you're Phillip Rivers, Tom Brady. It's just there aren't many guys like that anymore. Maybe there will be a throwback guy. Maybe it'll be Mac Jones. Maybe it'll be Kyle Trask. But you got to be skeptical. I don't even think there is a pocket anymore. The idea of a pocket quarterback assumes that a pocket exists. And really that thing gets broken down so quickly in the NFL. You need a guy who can break a tackle, throw a guy off, run. And I know that this guy is going to be able to do that. He's never going to show it in practice. He won't. It's not the forum. But once you see him in a game, it's going to be like, oh, it's been a while. It's been a while. It's going to be cool. But it's just going to have to. It's like buying a car and putting it. It's like buying a Stinger, right? And then putting it in the garage for a year. Like, oh, that's hard. That's really hard.
Yeah.
But you're rebuilding that engine. It's not quite ready for you yet. It's going to be ready.
Yeah, yes. I mean, you brought it up, so I have to say, for the first time in my life, I saw a Stinger in person. I was at some credit union a couple of weeks ago, and this blue glint out of the corner of my eye just called to me. It called to me, Grant. It was beautiful. And I looked over and it was a Stinger. And I was like, holy moly, I almost just dropped.
Is that a Panamera? No. It's a Kia.
Oh, glorious.
Yes.
And so I instantly thought of you, snapped a shot of it, texted it over, and you were like, dude, that's it. That's the Stinger. And it had a CarMax sticker on there. It was, it was for sale. I think it was at the credit union because probably
it might have been me. I might have just been ducking you. Oh, no, it's not me. It's my brother.
You're like, no, I'm not in Portland. I'm in the Bay.
Yeah.
I figure it was probably actually getting bought at that time, or the manager of the CarMax was like, I'm taking the Stinger out for a ride.
Those cars are you don't see them very much. They don't sell. I bought my 2018. It was a 2018 with 9,000 miles on it, which means it had been sitting on the lot for a long time. And I got for 15,000 under the sticker price. So yeah, if you want to get a Kia, man, they don't sell the Kia Stinger. Get that.
I would just say, as kudos to you, that 10 years ago, when I was about your age, I was just getting rid of a 1988 Cadillac DeVille that I had been rolling for a while. It had 12s in the trunk. It was like driving on a couch.
My God.
I met my wife in that car. She loved that car. She loved riding. It was so comfortable. It was like you could lounge in the front seat. You just kind of
that sounds fantastic.
A little bit. Oh, it was great. It
sounds
was great.
Wonderful.
I missed that car a little bit.
Well, that car would probably be Jimmy at this point.
Yeah, a little old and busted.
A little old and busted, but getting a little maybe bring it into exhibit, see what he can do with it. He can put a fishbowl in the.
That's
what I'm saying. Yeah,
and super comfortable, and you should feel good in it. People like it. It is Jimmy. It's comfortable.
People want us to stop talking about the Stinger. You're just jealous that I. Okay, no, let's move on. All right. Okay, so I have a bonus topic that you guys aren't gonna expect, but I got some inside information. From what I heard, everyone knows about Josh Rosen. His thing is he's kind of like too cool for school. Basically, he's too cool for school, right? He's like that dude in your math class, in your AP math class, who's clearly the smartest kid at math. He's the best, but he also has like a little attitude and doesn't do the homework. Challenges the teacher. So, oh, you're wrong on this. You're wrong on that. Gets the worst grades in the class, but also the best grade in the AP test. That's kind of Josh Rosen. It's like, I don't need this. But then he gets the best calculus teacher in the world. Then he goes and he gets Kyle Shanahan. Are you going to pull this act on Kyle, or are you going to actually be engaged and put your money where your mouth is? From what I've heard, Josh Rosen is extremely eager to work with Kyle Shanahan, extremely appreciative to work with Kyle Shanahan, which is interesting. It's like, I was wondering what was going to come here. This was going to come to a head because there are no reps for Josh Rosen right now. He's watching. He gets to warm up, but it's all about Lance and Garoppolo. And it's like, man, the Josh Rosen I think I know or that I've heard about wouldn't go for this, man. Why are you here? You're just watching. You would want to go somewhere where you can compete and show that you're great and da-da-da-da-da. No, that's not what he's doing. He wants to be here. He wants to work with Kyle. He wants to show the Niners that he's all in. And so I think it's the smartest thing he's ever done in his short career. He needs Kyle Shanahan. He cannot afford Kyle Shanahan to cut him and be like, you know what? We tried. It's not going to happen. If that happens, he may not get signed ever again. He needs to just stick around. Practice squad, fine. Whatever it is, fine. And if he can do that, he's only 24. He could end up being Trey Lance's long-term backup. And he could end up being someone that the 49ers get in a game late in a preseason game, build up value, trade him, get something for him. He could have a future, and it could start right here. That's what I'm hearing. He's very eager for this opportunity.
It makes perfect sense. I think you're exactly right in saying that this could be the last stop on the train, right? If you do not get this right and the 49ers move on, he could be labeled as someone that you just can't work with, someone that showed all the talent, but just couldn't bring it to the NFL. So I think that proper motivation for him in furthering his career is to excel here with the 49ers. And you said it, to set himself up for the best job in the NFL, to hold the clipboard. It's entirely possible to get yourself on that 4-year deal where you are backing up. And let's be honest, you're backing up a mobile quarterback who, even though he's big and 230 pounds, he's still going to be running some, and therefore it's possible he misses some games. It's entirely possible you get to showcase your skill set with this amazing offense in front of you and truly make the case for that trade to another franchise where now you have a chance to be the starting quarterback again. The reclamation project that is Josh Rosen is not over by any stretch of the imagination. And I agree with you that it could be a scenario where Jimmy gets injured early this season and they prefer to put in Josh Rosen because the most important thing you have to do this season is not ruin Trey Lance.
True.
That
Also,
yeah.
you got to play the quarterback who gives you the best chance to win now because
That's
you're
right.
in win now mode. And that may be Trey. It might be Josh, though. Trey might give you the best chance to win next year.
Yeah.
But if it's not now, then it's whoever. Then it's Josh Rosen. And the thing about Rosen, again, it's like that kid in class who's super arrogant and doesn't do his homework, but is smarter than you. And you wonder, like, man, are you all talk or are you ever going to rise to the occasion and get your stuff together and really knock it out when you get challenged? And I always wanted that with Rosen, and it seems like he's going to rise to the occasion, which is cool. Good for him.
Yeah. Yeah. And I would think that, you could throw in Lance for 1 or 2 games and he might give you the best chance to win those 1 or 2 games just by those physical gifts that he possesses. But then NFL defenses would catch up with any lack of understanding of the playbook quickly. So I think you could see a couple of wins from Lance, but if Josh Rosen has a firm grasp on how to run this offense, he certainly gives you a better chance, I would think.
Yeah, I'm not making a prediction on Lance. It's possible that he would be ready to back up Garoppolo, and it's possible he won't. Rosen is just gives you a little flexibility there, which is nice in the short term. But he also gives you like a long-term backup, a long-term project, a guy with upside, someone you could trade. Sudfeld ain't that. Josh Johnson ain't that. This guy is. So he's very interesting. I think he's going to stick around. I mean, I thought he might complain his way off the team if he was like, man, I'm not getting any reps. This is dumb. Can I go somewhere where I can compete? No, stay here. You're not at the competition level yet. You're trying to you're trying to establish a professional reputation in the league, and you're going to do that here. And he's doing it. So that's cool.
Yep. I'm with it, man. I say he makes it as the third. I think Nate Sudfeld is there just for the presence he
practice
will bring
squad.
to the quarter.
Practice squad. Yeah.
Well, I think Scangarello there's something about his personality that probably brings something to the quarterback room, and Scangarello wants that anchor in the room, someone who's on the same page.
No doubt. San Fran 49er fan. I like that. It says random message, Grant. Hated you years ago, LOL. Thought you were just trolling fans. YouTube has completely changed my view. You're awesome, and we are better as a fan base having your analysis. Cheers. That was really nice. Thank you so much.
That was nice.
That was awfully nice. Thank you so much. All right, moving on. Jimmy, the man who's back in the spotlight. Where do you think his head is at right now, if you had to guess?
I am a bit mixed on this. I know that a lot of people came out and thought that he was really confident in the most recent press conference. I find myself a bit in the middle. I think that what I see is the old Jimmy emerging. I'm not quite sold that the confidence is solidified yet. I saw a glimmer of hope because I thought last year one of the biggest things for Jimmy was his confidence got destroyed. Mm-hmm. And you could see it in the way that he played. You could see it in the way that he spoke to the media. And I thought that Kyle bore a great deal of the responsibility for crushing that confidence. And this year, I'm hoping that confident Jimmy brings us back a little bit. I don't know. I saw some of the same things that worried me in that press conference, but they were underneath a smiling, confident, happy Jimmy. So I'm remaining optimistic. As the guy who put forth a question that at least got him to, crack a smile and sort of put down the predetermined answers, what was your take looking at him during that press conference?
He seemed relieved in the sense of like he must have had a lot of doubt, a lot of questions. Are they going to cut me? Are they going to trade me? Am I going to be on a different team next year? What's my future? Where am I going to be in 2 months? Am I going to be uprooting my life? All these questions you don't know. You haven't even seen Trey Lance in person. You've heard this and that. He's supposed to be stronger than you, smarter than you, faster than you, better looking than you, all these things. But he's also 10 years younger than you and hasn't played in a while. And you're like, well, let's see it, buddy. And they have the first time they're on the practice field together. And it was obvious to anyone that just right now in that setting, Jimmy was better. And it must feel good to feel like, you know what? I'm going to be on this team one more year. I'm not going anywhere. I don't have to worry about that. I'm going to be the starter week 1. And if I play well and stay healthy, I'm going to be the starter week 2, week 3. And if I have a good season and they want to get rid of me anyway, great. I'll be the starter somewhere else and I'll be making a lot of money. So he has the opportunity to really, save his career right now.
Yeah.
Because Trey is Trey.
The road opened up in front of him when he saw that first practice. That was probably a relief to him of, he may be coming for my job, but he ain't taking it today.
No, he'll take it next year. And so I have a whole year to lead this team and rebuild my reputation and put a great year together.
Yeah. And get traded to the Jets when it turns out Zach Wilson's shoulder isn't good anyway. So, I mean, that's, he's setting himself up for a career.
Hold on. Sorry to stop the show. All caps. Hey, Grant, you can do the YouTube player in the corner of an iPhone. I listen to you and work like that all the time. Just have to get YouTube Premium. Keep it lit with the content.
Is this dude working for YouTube? That seems like a plug.
Do I get paid if people subscribe to YouTube Premium because I told them to? If so, get that. If not, don't.
Right.
But if so, get that. I'm about to get that. It sounds like way too expensive. Do you have to? What would be the reason to get YouTube Premium if you also had YouTube TV?
I mean, I don't know. I pay for so many subscriptions every month, Grant. I mean, if I stopped and calculated it, it would ruin me. It just seems like another one where they're like, hey, do you want to not see commercials in your life? Pay us some money and now you can get your stuff. Yeah.
All right. Well, if you want to watch Rob and I talk Niners while scrolling through Twitter, because I have no attention span. I couldn't imagine just looking at YouTube on my phone for 45 minutes without going to other apps. I would be like impossible. Hey, YouTube Premium. There you go. All right.
Boom.
It's $12 a month with no commercials.
I mean, if YouTube doesn't give you a kickback for that, they should. That was a good plug, dude.
I think it was a decent plug. I might get a kickback.
We need sponsors. Just shout out to the people who want to be on this show as sponsors. Come on, bring the money.
I get off my butt and do that. I get 3 million views a month on this channel. Humble brag. I think I should probably get a sponsor. Like, I don't know, something. Let me think about that. If you want to sponsor me, let me know. 3 million.
Blue Ribbon. Come on.
Yeah.
Come on.
That's right, baby. All right. I like PBR. All right, let's stick with Jimmy.
Yeah.
So he's confident now. He saw one practice of Trey Lance. He's like, all right, I'm feeling good. But that can go away. Trey Lance could come back in a couple of weeks feeling great, and all of a sudden Jimmy's like, damn. So what do the Niners need to do to keep Jimmy Garoppolo confident?
So I want to ask you something about your experience and whether you ever spoke to Alex Smith about this. So people may think that I'm a little bit crazy, but I used to see on the sidelines when Harbaugh and Alex Smith pregame were doing the banging the shoulder pads, hitting him in the chest.
Yes.
And I just saw this.
But all that was about. Yeah.
Bright smile come across Alex's face when Jim would do that. And it just filled him with confidence. He was ready to go. And Kyle has often said that Jimmy's better after the first hit that he takes in the game.
Yeah.
So I just want to know, have you ever spoken to Alex about that or Harbaugh? Did you ever get a sense for whether Alex thought that was stupid or whether he was bought into that process?
That's a really good question. I wonder what Alex Smith would say about Jim Harbaugh now. He never talks about him. He always talks about Andy Reid. I think he kind of feels like he got led on by Jim Harbaugh.
He got betrayed a bit.
Like he kind of got pumped up and then shipped out. You know what I mean? So I don't know if he would say he would be diplomatic. And let me take my interpretation. At the time, Alex Smith was so beaten down. And I think what Harbaugh was trying to do was saying, man, you're a champion. You're a fighter. You love this. Come on, man. You're a tough guy. Maybe it made him look a little bit like he was a kid. Like it's like the dad trying to pump him up. But yeah, it seemed to work. It seemed to be a nice little thing. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean,
yeah, it was cool. I liked it.
Yeah, I thought it was great. Yeah. I could see where Alex would feel that he was let down in that Harbaugh era. I mean, not to get off track here, but the guy was a caddy for Harbaugh, and then to get treated the way he did, I could see why he'd be frustrated.
It was a bad look. The caddy thing was a bad look.
That was a bad look.
But look, beyond slapping his helmet and shoulder pads and pumping him up, I do think there's a few things they can do to keep him. I mean, that in general, just like don't do the opposite of that, which was Kyle's specialty. Don't take digs in the press conference. Don't take little things. Don't say little things where you have to interpret. Well, was that a nice thing or a not? Just say nice things. He's going to be gone in a year, man. It's like you see the breakup date is at the end of the year. It's high school and college is coming, and you already agreed you're going to break up before you go to college. Like that's not even going to be emotional, man. No one's going to cry. It's going to be easy. Just say nice things, get some flowers. Hey, I cherish the time, man. It was terrific, man. I'm out of here. I'm out.
Just move on.
Yeah, not that I did that or anything. I'm just saying.
I think that's fair. I don't know that Kyle is capable of the shoulder slap. I think he should. For the record, Kyle, if you're listening, I think that you should do it. I think that you should be banging on Jimmy's damn shoulder pads before the game because I think it would hype him up. Yeah. But I don't think Kyle could do that. Maybe Mike McDaniels would
do something that shows that you're in his corner for like something 17 more games, man. It really costs you nothing.
Because I'm with you that he, at a bare minimum, he needs to stop tearing down the confidence of his starting quarterback. But I think he's got to go further. I think he's got to do something that shows some confidence in Jimmy. I want to see it. I want to see it, Kyle. Yeah,
Tommy, I got to put you on timeout, man. I love you, Tommy, but dude, every time you're in here, you're fighting with people, man. You're gonna have to go on a see how many streak of how many times you can come in here and not get in a fight. I'm just saying. I think it would be a good streak to start, like a Cal Ripken streak. You know what I'm saying? I'm not, because I don't want to assess blame and who started it. I don't want to be the hall monitor of my chats. All I see is people using, name calling and stuff, and I'm like, all right, man, I'm just gonna break it up.
Unacceptable.
Yeah, so Tommy, I love you, man. I know you can start a streak of not getting into fights in the chat room, and that's why I'm bigging you up right now, man. Shout out Chef Tommy, makes some great food from what I've heard.
Teed him up like Draymond.
So yeah, we'll come back to Jimmy one more time. Also, there's some stuff they can do schematically, man. All the Jimmy gimmies, all the quick stuff, the quick throws to Debo, all the running. He should be handing the ball off a whole lot this year, man. A whole lot. You're not developing him. You're not trying to get more out of him or expand his game. No, man. No. Just keep him healthy. Let him do what he does best. His handoffs, Rob, are they not the best handoffs you've ever seen?
So beautiful, Grant.
They're immaculate.
So beautiful.
The attention to detail. They're so nice.
The rotation, the ball placement,
it's uncanny. So I want to see a lot of that from Jimmy Garoppolo this year, and don't put him in situations that are too much for him.
The other thing that I want to say is what you can't do is you can't do what you did in the Vikings game. You had ample opportunity to give Jimmy a couple of gimme throws that would have stopped the narrative of you don't trust Jimmy and gone back to the reality of, no, we were just punishing them on the ground, therefore we didn't need to throw. But you just had to go ahead and finish out the game running and make it look like you didn't trust Jimmy. And maybe you didn't, but you should have sent the message you did, because guess what? His confidence was jacked, and then that showed up in the Super Bowl.
That's right, Kyle. Listen. All right, moving on. Not a quarterback question, a cornerback question. Do the 49ers need one? And if so, how are they going to get one?
First and foremost, shout out to Ben Camperman, who I did an interview. This kid, 14 years old, crushing it. Like many of the other young gentlemen on your channel that are just phenomenal. I mean, the dream, not your average sports kid. Love those guys. I mean, I wish I had done what they were doing at their age.
Me too. I wish there had been this kind of outlet. There was no YouTube in 2000. For me, it was 2001.
Yeah. No streaming in 91. No, there wasn't much. I was operating on my Mac SE at the time there. That was powerful computer.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Was it like black screen with yellow type or what? How did it? Yeah. Yes. Oh, yeah. Did it have a mouse at all?
It did have a mouse. It was, it was next level for that time. We were, we lived in Palo Alto down the street from Steve Jobs. So we had to have the latest tech.
Hold on real quick. Before we get to this cornerback thing real quick, we just got a quarterback question. I feel like
bring it.
Let's slide it in real quick from Jordan Rinaldi. From the fans' perspective, what would Lance need to do during his rookie contract to live up to the 2 future first-round picks? See, this is like a trick question. You know what I'm saying? He doesn't need to do anything during his rookie year. He could sit on the bench the entire time. You'd want to get him in here and there, but it's all about next year, really.
But if we go rookie contract, the full 4 years of the rookie deal plus a potential fifth.
Oh, he said rookie contract.
Yeah, what do you think?
Reading comprehension is tough. Okay, yeah, reading comprehension. Let me try again. Yeah, the rookie contract.
Hey, I'm here for the people. I'm correct. You pay good money here. Get the question right, Grant. Come on.
If he had to sit for 2 years and by year 3 he was elite, it'd be all worth it, right?
Oh, 100%.
So I don't think he needs to play any given amount of time. I just think he needs to be really, 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 really good by the end of his rookie contract. He needs to be worth a bajillion-dollar extension, at least worth it.
Yeah,
by the end, because that's what they banked on.
The kind of extension where he technically owns like a portion of the team at that point.
Yeah, no, that it would technically be a bajillion dollars that he'd be re-signing for.
It's a very big figure.
It's a big number, but it exists. Yeah,
it does. Yeah, I think that as long as you see those flashes of greatness within the rookie contract, not just flashes, that's not fair. We did give up a lot to get there. I think that you have to see better than what you had. I think you've got to see markedly better than Jimmy in order to feel like you're headed in the right direction. But I am of the belief that any Super Bowl win within the Trey Lance era, and you have more than paid for those picks that you gave up. I don't think people understand how hard it is to win a damn Super Bowl.
Yeah, I think that's a good bar. So let's get back to the cornerback discussion.
Yeah.
Thank you for the question, the donation. Do the Niners need another cornerback?
So as I was saying, Ben Camperman went on a show. He submitted, this was the first one for 49ersmailbag@gmail.com. I said, best question submitted would come on this show with you. So this is it. Ben Camperman's question. So, I think that what the realization after Ben asked that question was that we are one injury away from starting a rookie cornerback. We have no idea how good he's going to be. He may have flashed in a single OTA practice, but no idea. And 2 injuries away from starting Dante Johnson.
Also, Ambry Thomas did not flash in that OTA practice. We'll have to see about him. Also, he didn't play last year.
No.
So
that's not someone that you want starting on the outside there. And then the second injury brings up Dante Johnson. I love Dante Johnson. I mean, I think he's just going to continually be on this roster until he retires. But he's also the type of player that if he doesn't make the 53-man, he's going to be available because he's just going to sit on the waiver wire and you can always bring him back. He's not the guy that you want having to start 4 games this season. So to me, this is a yes. You've got to bring in a cornerback. And when I look at the list of available guys, it's not pretty. But it reminds me a little bit of 2011. We got that value signing right towards the end of the summer. We brought in Carlos Rogers.
True. That is true.
And that was a value signing. That was a guy that previously first-round pick, had a lot of potential, but it was never realized, and then came into a new defensive scheme and just took off and really was a valuable player that season and beyond when we decided to extend him. So I think you could see a similar move where we take a veteran, sign him to a 1-year deal. I'd be okay if it were Richard Sherman. I know that you wouldn't be in that scenario. Is that correct?
Nah, I would rather get someone like Bashad Breeland or Steven Nelson or someone who's better in man-to-man coverage. I think they're trying to do that. That's what Jason Verrett does well. I think Richard Sherman needs to move to safety and go somewhere else.
That's fair.
Just I see it. Yeah.
I would like the value that he would bring to the locker room from a leadership perspective and just from the respect that he garners in the league. I think that there's value to that. I'm a Blazers fan. I see Carmelo Anthony on the Blazers as a steadying force there. I think that there's value there, but I agree. The person I keyed in on was Steven Nelson, 6-year vet, most recently with the Steelers, 48th best cover corner per PFF. So, I mean, not fantastic, but good as a second cornerback, or, potentially if E-Man wins out the starting job, Emmanuel Mosley, potentially the third corner. I think that's solid. And people are throwing out the fact that the Cardinals might sign him. So to sign him away from a division rival, that would be great. Looks like he's in the $4 million for 1 year type of range. Mm-hmm. It's reasonable.
It seems to me that the Niners want Ambry Thomas to be either a starter or the first corner off the bench because they're not bringing in anyone to challenge him. Yeah. So, okay, let's see what he's got. And you better see it quick because I didn't see much. I mean, I haven't seen enough. I didn't get to see him in one-on-ones yet against actual starters. Let me see it because you would hate to learn that he's not ready and then miss out on these guys who are available in their 20s.
And really pretty cheap at this point. I mean, we are into the value shopping section of the offseason.
Rob, I've spent at least the last 2 days trying to explain my stance on Trey Lance, and this is what happens every time.
I thought we were very reasonable, Grant. I mean,
we spent like 20 minutes on it.
for you, this was a very reasonable show and a very reasonable take.
Man, this is why you can't get too wrapped up. Like if you really put yourself out there, people will say that you said things you didn't even say. It's like, all right, man, okay. All
I
right,
mean,
Ryan.
these people need to realize they are basically encouraging you to throw out a hotter take, you know? Because
Exactly.
it's like, well, if you're not going to give me credit for being reasonable, I might as well
then
be
I'll just
unreasonable.
let's go scorching. Sean says having gone to UCLA is the reason he can't read. Not going to UCLA is the reason you can't form proper sentences. Just saying, LOL. Grad from What's the Matter You. Appreciate it, man. Yeah, I don't know. Sometimes I just get excited when I'm reading and miss words or stuff. I don't know.
It's tough,
I don't know.
dude. To run the show and read the questions, people don't know how hard Grant has it.
I have it really, really, really hard. All right, final topic. You thought we were going to go an entire show without talking about Julio Jones? You really thought that? Ha!
Come
Joke's
on.
You. All right. So the Niners clearly have interest, obviously. They would have to. Julio Jones has said he'd like to come, I think. At least indicated. How would this even work? Can the Niners pull this off?
I think so. So for me, tying into the last topic of the cornerback, I just don't think that the 49ers can be done at this point. And if you're not going to add a couple of small pieces to the equation, like a veteran cornerback or another edge rusher, then take the big swing. Go for Julio. Get it done. Because let's be honest, we are in one of, if not the most competitive divisions in football. So you need to do everything possible. And if you're saying that, hey, this is the year that Jimmy's going to get it done for us. Well, let's build that supporting cast to make it happen. So what is it going to take to get the Julio deal done? I don't believe the first rounder nonsense, Grant. I feel like when it's your own team putting out the news stories, that's like your best buddy telling you about, the hot person, the hot girl that he just went out. Like you believe him kind of, but he's exaggerating a little bit. Yeah. He's playing. There's a little hyperbole in
You're
there.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. She sounds great. Yeah.
Supermodel. Oh, I'm sure.
Oh yeah. Can't wait to meet her. Yeah.
Yeah. Obviously. Yeah. Obviously. So if the Falcons are putting out that they got the offer of the one, I don't believe that. If they got the offer for the one, they're taking it. That's right.
Take it. What are you waiting for?
That deal would have already been published if they had gotten an offer for a one. So I don't believe that. So I think that the 49ers are in a position where now we're talking seconds, and we've got seconds. We don't have first. We have seconds. So you have to throw in 2022 second round pick. That's a must. That's your starting point. But then I think you're going to need another second. I think that's what it's going to take to get this deal done. A conditional second in 2023. And I think it's a low conditional. I don't think you can make the Falcons pay any of his salary. You got to pay the entirety of it yourself. 2-2s, conditional on, say, Julio playing 12 games, something like that. That to me is what it's going to take to get the deal done. Then you still got to fit it. I mean, we could talk about fitting it into the cap after that. But to me, that's you got to go for it, John. You got to sell that package. Do you think that gets it done? Do you think 2-2s is enough?
It might. I'm not sure. It might get close to it. You might have to do 2-2s and like a fifth or something. I don't know, because maybe other teams would be amenable to offering that as well. But let me ask the people of the chat, the good people of the chat, what do you think? Would you be okay with offering 2-2s for Julio Jones? What do you think? Let's get a little informal poll. See what they say.
Little crowdsourcing.
What do you guys think? 2-2s? Because if 49er fans are uncomfortable with it, that means it's a decent offer. If Niner fans are like, yeah, do it, then that probably means that won't be enough. So let's see. We're seeing no, yes, no way, yeah, would be okay. So a lot of no's makes me feel like this might actually be something that the Falcons would bite at. I'm seeing a lot of boos, no.
That's good.
I think that's good because as soon as the Niners do it, Niner fans are going to be like, yeah, we got Julio Jones.
That's right.
Screw those pigs.
And the other thing is, I mean, we do have to consider that maybe the Falcons want back talent and the 49ers do have talent. I just can't pick out a player. I'd be interested in the chat. People throw out Eric Armstead. I mean, Let me just say one thing, though.
Yeah. Before I lose my mind. The one concern with this whole thing is you have the picks, you have the money. But at a certain point, if you get this guy, it's kind of like you're tapped out in both of them. Now you've traded all your 2s and your 1s. So you basically forget draft picks for the next 2 years, forget them. And then all your cap space is tied up in, the guys you got. So So how do you resign? How do you rebuild a secondary if it's old and free agent and they leave? I mean, it'd be tough. That's what people are paid
Real
to do,
tough.
but it'd be tough.
Real tough. Things get tight because in order to fit him under the cap this year, you have to convert some salary into signing bonus. And all that does is literally take the money from this year's cap and kick it down the road and spread it out over how many years you decide to spread it out over. The one I suggest is Jimmy Ward, because I feel like he's had 2 relatively healthy seasons in a row. He's a team player, and he only has 1 year left on his deal. So you take his $10 million salary this year, you turn it into a signing bonus. He now gets the minimum this year, but that $5 million gets pushed over to next year's cap. But you're just kicking the can down the road. Now you're talking about a 2022 cash-strapped team who only has 35 players signed at this point. Almost no one in the secondary. So you're right. You're running out of options. And so I do think that
you can trade players. I mean, so you can. You would have to end up trading players. You have to pick some. It wouldn't have to be Bosa. It could be Bosa. It wouldn't have to be Debo. It could be Debo. There's options, but you have to start offloading people and getting some picks back and getting young talent.
You do.
Yeah.
And that's
easy enough. Easy enough.
I wouldn't include any of the talent in the trade to Atlanta. I like a lot of and maybe that's because I'm a homer and I like all our players, but I wouldn't try to include anyone. And I don't think that there's the value in Eric Armstead that other people believe. And it's a huge salary. And that's exactly what Atlanta is trying to get rid of is salary. So they're not going to take back a big salary for this year. They need to get money off the books.
Yeah. Well, Parag, John, if you're wondering, we just laid it out for you. If you really want to get it done, that's what's going to take. That's what it's probably going to take. And even then, might not be enough. You might have to throw in me into the deal. I was reading my YouTube comments yesterday. Someone said trade Grant Cohn for Julio Jones, and it got like 160 likes. I was like, you guys think that highly of me? I'm worth a late one? Jeez.
I applaud you for going into those YouTube comments, dude. That's a rabbit hole to go down, my friend. I've looked through my own, and I mean, they're crushing. You know, my modeling career is dead after this. They've ruined my self-esteem about my ability to just go out as a beautiful man and earn dollars as a top model. That dream is crushed now, and I'm devastated, Grant. I'm devastated.
I'm sure you're much better looking than the people who say that about you. I find you to be just a terrifically handsome man. I don't know what they're talking about.
Thank you.
Yes, absolutely.
I greatly appreciate that.
Well, that's our show for today. I'll be back in about an hour with Coach Noah Johnson talking about June 1st cuts and things of that nature. And then I'm going to go back on Twitch later today, and I don't have a plan for it yet, but things happen. So that's my plan. Twitch. Thank you, Rob. Thank you, everyone else. Thank you, Chef Tommy. Thank you, Sir Don't Trip. Thank you, Outsiders 408. I will see you guys later.